Guys, season 2 just dropped, and I'm not gonna lie, this season is way deeper than it looks. There's so many systems and subsystems that's gonna make and break how you play and how you win games this season. But I'm gonna be going over everything new and everything you need to know to stay ahead of the meta this season. You guys are going to see this from the second that you open the game up. If you haven't chosen yet, you're going to want to decide what faction that you're going to be committed to this season. There's actually not that much that goes into it, but you do want to know that there's going to be a skin style that you're going to get if your faction wins based on what skin you selected. So if you're into cosmetics, honestly, it's still a 50 gamble. But I will say the biggest things you want to do is pick the faction based on your playstyle, because if they implement changes that are faction based and it goes against the meta of your playstyle, then that's something that's going to be working against you. So I'm going to break it down very simply. So the main difference between the two factions is if you guys go Ice King, I'm going to recommend that for you if you're a little bit more strategic, if you're a little bit more defensive, if you play slower. If you're more aggressive, if you like things crazy, then for sure Foundation is going to be the way to go. I'm going to break this down a little bit more deeper. If that's something you want to see, let me know in the comments, but it's really not that big of a deal. If the meta develops a little bit more based on the faction, that's something I'm definitely going to cover, so you're going to want to tap in if things change for the better or for the worse based on the factions. The reason that the faction system is so important because the subset in that is the rivalry system. And that's basically going to dictate the whole flow of the game, and essentially it's going to be the whole mid-game objective and main objective of everything this season, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that people think they need to do to get ahead of the meta. Honestly, I will say this off rip. If you're not comfortable in your playstyle, if you're not comfortable fighting and you want to learn as much as possible, I would highly suggest staying away from all the major POIs because they're going to be flooded with kids. So land somewhere that you're familiar with, get used to the guns, get used to your rotations, your movement, and everything that you need to know, because storms are going to pull into these new zones and you're going to figure out some of these new spots, but you want to get used to your loadout and what you want to do. And for you to even get comfortable with that, you're going to have to live off spawn. So that's the biggest tip I can give you. So the way that the rivalry system works is essentially it's like the bounty system back in the day, but it's going to be a little bit more heavy weighted because the rivalry points that you accumulate carry on from match to match. And once you get a certain number of rivalries, you're going to unlock different upgrades and perks that you can use to level up and get crazy massive advantages in the game. The reason that this is the best thing that you can grind right now is because everybody's rivalry rank is 0, and it's going to go up and you're going to unlock more things based on that. So if you want to get an early advantage early in the game, I would say spend as much time as you can getting as much rivalry elimination as you can. I wouldn't even go for wins. I wouldn't even go for new POIs. I would literally just W key and go for rivalries. That's just me. And the reason why is because the rivalry system with the rivalry credits are so strong. I'll go over that a little bit more detail, but essentially you're going to get so much more of an advantage in every single game. One of the ones that I've been doing lately is for only 10 rivalry points, which is essentially 1 elimination, you get 5 chug splash. You can get these splash at any of the locations, and they're everywhere on the map. You want to get into the habit of going to these elimination points when you don't have a bounty to either get heals or pick a bounty up. That way you can know if a player's proximity is close to you, or you can just pick up more bounty points. So it's always going to be beneficial to rotate through those rivalry stations to get not only heal upgrades, weapon upgrades, but always a chance to get more rivalry points. Of course, some of the biggest changes this season are going to be the POIs. We have 4 major POI changes. Super excited to dive into the ice biome, and I'm actually going to be breaking down all those POIs along with the POIs that I like going to. So if that's something you want to see, or if there's a POI that you want me to specifically cover, let me know and I will tag you in it. But I will say, as far as new season, what you need to know is that all the major four corners of the maps have been changes. These POIs were primarily based with some of the collaborations around the season, so it seems like these POIs are going to be more centered around the story of the season, which I think is going to be a great change. It seems like Epic is a lot more forward with being receptive to what the community has to say, and I think that's going to go a long way for the community and the pacing and flow of this season. A lot of people feel like the season is very boring and it's slow right now because a lot of things weren't introduced at the gate of the season. But I feel like this season is going to change in a lot of crazy ways, with a lot of environmental changes and a lot of game sense changes. So if you don't know these things, you will easily fall behind the meta in between updates, is what my guess is going to be. All right, the next thing I'm going to get into is the weapons, guys. I'm also going to do a full breakdown, but there is new weapons in every single category. The biggest thing that I'll say about the weapons right now is, honestly, most of them are pretty balanced. The guns and the meta is going to change based on your playstyle, but it does seem like things are very balanced. You don't need to grab that one item because it is objectively better than everything else. So the guns that got unvaulted that are currently in the loophole right now is Combat AR, Nemesis AR, the Pistol, Burst SMG, Iron Pump Shotgun, Twin Hammer Shotgun, Twin Mag SMG, Mythic Goldfish, Flowberry Mist Grenade, Porta Bunker, Shield Bubble, which are only going to be in no build. And then we have the exotics from Chapter 6 Season 2, but they're being rebranded from Lawless to Lawful. The Combat AR is going to be the AR that you use if you're typically a two-gun type of player. So if you only go shotgun and AR, the Combat is going to be the one that has the highest fire rate, but it's also going to have the least amount of damage. Nemesis AR does a little bit more damage at the trade-off of having a little bit lower fire rate. So it's going to be that AR that's right in the middle. But seriously, guys, the new AR is going to be the Vector 7 DMR. This gun has a lot of potential to step into that position of becoming the meta for sure. But it does seem pretty balanced right now. It's right in between a hunting rifle and a shotgun. It hits for like 70. I literally one-tapped this kid over 120 when I was top 3. It's an extremely powerful gun if you know how to use it. I had it one game and I literally went 7 kills back to back with just 2-tapping kids. The biggest thing about the Vector 7 DMR is that 100 meters and up, this gun is actually going to be hit scan, but 100 meters and further is going to be bullet drop. So it works like a pistol or a sniper, just depending on how far you are. So take that into consideration. If you're in a fight and that player is 90 to 100 meters away, that's really going to affect how you push and how you win that fight. So I would always try to push to get into that 100 meter range myself, because I'm not great with bullet drop, but you can play from a farther range and have more of an advantage if that's your play style. So just make sure that's something that you know, so you can factor that into how you're fighting this season. So currently, guys, we have 3 shotguns in the loophole. We have the Twin Hammer shotguns, the Iron Pump, which we all know and love. Then the new shotgun that has the potential to also be the meta is going to be the Chaos Reloaded shotgun. And this gun is a little gimmicky because it only has 1 bullet in the chamber, but it automatically loads itself after 2 seconds. If you're a fast editor, I don't think that this is going to be the shotgun for you, but if you line up your shots and you hit max headshots, this is going to be the gun for you. It hits over a 100 body, but you can easily hit a 120, 130, a clean 100 plus shot if you hit a headshot. So this gun has potential. This gun doesn't have a lot of wiggle room if you miss that shot, but if you're good at hitting shots, then you're going to have a lot of success with this gun, especially if you're carrying it with an SMG, which is the next thing I'm going to get into. Now, I will say, it's hard for me to see where the AR sit this season because the SMGs are looking so stacked and so good. Off rip, we got the Thunderburst SMG back, along with the Twin Mag, and I'll say off rip, the Twin Mag is going to be your SMG if you like just spraying and praying, if you just love crazy big clip sizes and you want to always have bullets in the SMG, the Twin Mag is going to be the way to go. But then we also have the Thunderburst SMG, which is really good at bleeding through walls, really good at, if you can time your shot when a wall is low, you're going to get some bleed through damage because of that quick fire rate. So if you're more of a methodical player, a tactical player, you might have a lot of success with this gun. This gun also has the sight on the top of it, which gives it perfect shot accuracy whenever you're aiming down sights. So if you're good at tracking players out the air or just AR tracking, then this gun is going to feel really good. It doesn't hit hard, but based on the damage and the burst, it hits really good. Also, the recoil isn't terrible on this gun. I would aim for the body and know that it recoils up to the head. I will say that it does seem like the SMG and the AR does what the pistol does a little bit better, so it's not terrible. I would say it's something you shouldn't go to. I'm not going to go over every single item in the loot pool, but I will say self-revive is still in the game, and the heals are also in the good spot. We have med kit, chug splash, fishing is back with harpoon, so fishing got a buff. We have chug splash, and we still have a flowberry mist grenade. So honestly, the heals are really good, but with the fish, we have floppers, shield fish, slurp fish, and there's even word that the Midas fish is in the game. If you don't know, the Midas fish turns your whole inventory gold, so if you get that, you'll be in a crazy spot that game. But some of the more notable changes in the loot pool is going to be the movement. And I will say, the movement items are very balanced this season, guys. It seems like nothing is overpowered. It's going to be a lot more fun fighting this season because it doesn't seem like kids can use the movement items to run away and hide from fights. So that might work against you or that might work in your favor. That really depends on your playstyle. The next thing I'm going to touch on is the movement items. So the two major movement items that we have is going to be the Skyline Deployer, and then we have the Overdrive Grenade. The Overdrive Grenade is essentially going to be a nerfed shockwave. It's going to blast you away. It's not going to break through builds, and it's not going to send you as far, but it will give you a slap juice effect that you can use to create some distance in between an opponent. So I wouldn't use it just to get away from a guy unless you planned on full running and using that slap juice effect to run away from the fight. I will say the item I'm probably using the most is going to be the Skyline Deployer. I will say you can get beamed very easily with this gun, but it does have a little bit of a skill ceiling when it comes to using it, just like the Overdrive Grenade does. It's definitely going to change the way that the game is being played, but if there's something that you learned this far, I would highly recommend that you subscribe. Every single week I'm going to be dropping a video like this where I'm going to be giving you guys tips and everything you need to know to stay ahead of the meta this season. Those are some of the basic changes, but I'm going to go over some of the most game-changing systems that they implemented that's going to change every single game that you play. So right now, the fact that one player in the match is actually going to be driving the battle bus, that's something that you're going to want to know in case you're actually driving the bus. I recommend going to your POI if you want it to be hot, if you want to go there quicker, if you just want to get there. There's also advantages to driving the bus away from your POI. You'd have a further route to get there, but also there'd be less people at your POI, so there is going to be some strategy when it comes to that. I don't think that it's going to change the game that much, but it is something to be aware of. So on top of that, some of the major ways that the game can be affected during any matches through rift anomalies. Right now we only have 2, but we have a third one that we can activate through a faction that we select. But the 2 that we have active right now is going to be the Rivalry Rumble, and that's going to be every player on the island enters a rivalry at the same time. Winners get extra rival credits. You're going to be able to W key anybody around you, and you're going to be able to get a lot more of these points. So that's something I want to be aware of. If this goes off, you want to just W key a little bit more and not be mindful who it is. Storm focus is something that could really work in your favor or work against you if you're not being mindful of it. But with storm focus, the storm warps in some crazy shapes. I recommend going to the center of the storm for a nice rule of thumb, but sometimes that's easier said than done based on those storms. I will say, guys, if you're a returning player this season, there is something that's going to be a returning player modifier, and essentially that's going to be a skill-based matchmaking system that's going to nerf the lobbies that you're in so you're not getting full sweated on. So you're going to be able to ease into the season a little bit more. So if you're a returning player and you really do things the right way, you're definitely going to improve. You're definitely going to get better. I'm going to be going over some more of the competitive changes and some of the UI interface changes in another video, along with some other things. But this video is essentially to give you the meat of everything new this season and let you guys know the best ways you could take advantage of it and get ahead of the meta and capitalize on everything. Guys, if you are a returning player or if you're a new player, guys, please use code HASHBT in the Fortnite item shop. It really goes a long way. Right now, they're doing 3 times as much love for supported creators. So please use my code. If you don't use my code, Support another creator, it goes a long way for us. If you made it this far, I appreciate you tapping in. I already got a few wins this season, and then I've been trying to get ahead of the meta as much as I can. Everything new that I figure out, I'm going to let you guys know. If you want more tips or you want to stay ahead of the meta, definitely join the channel where I'm going to be dropping a weekly episode called H.A.S.H High 7. I'm H.A.S.H, and I'm going to be giving you guys some tips on everything and anything that you guys want me to cover. From the best shotguns to the best ARs, the POI breakdowns to fighting mechanics, literally anything that you guys want to know, I'm going to be making videos to cover those topics. If it's something that you want to see covered, leave a comment, and the most popular comment, I'm going to cover that video. So if it's something that you guys want to see, something that you want to learn, something that you want me to make a video on, let me know in the comments, guys. I got you. But if there's something you want to know live, if you want to ask a question, if you want to just come vibe with me, I stream every Friday, every Sunday. I'm going to be dropping the links to all of my socials in the bio if that's something you want to tap into. I will say, that's going to be the gist of everything new this season. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of gameplay changes that are going to affect the way that you change and the way that you move through the season. So definitely, if you want to stay ahead of the meta, if you want to find your best playstyle, if you want to improve as a player, then tap in here.